Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about managing stress. Stress in the time of COVID. So this is the 12th in our series we're calling Coping with COVID. Stress. You know, we are all stressed. This has been going on for a long time now. Everybody's frustrated, anger levels going up, sleep's going down, we're eating more junk food, we're not exercising well. Everything is kind of just not quite right. It's just frustration. It's tired. We're tired of wearing a mask. We're tired of social distancing. We're tired of not being able to go out to dinner with friends. You know, there's all these things we can't do right now, and well, that's frustrating. I think what it really boils down to is we have a lack of control. Control that we've always had is now down. It's really been suppressed. And that really gets to us. It gets to us. So what happens? We get kind of testy, we get angry. I know for myself, little things are building up, building up, building up. And so something that wouldn't have bothered me at all 6 months ago, bang, you know, it's just, I won't use the term I'm thinking about, but you know, it really annoys me. And I'm sure you have the same sort of feelings. As I mentioned already, a lot of people I've been talking to recently, well, I just am not inspired to do anything. I just sit on the couch, I watch TV. They become couch potatoes. This is not good for us, it's not healthy, and we need to work on it. So we've talked already about, in general, 4 major areas with some detail in one show here on diet. And today I want to focus on stress. And it's low-grade stress. We all know if we see the truck coming at us, that's big time stress. We got to run across the street. And when we get to a safe spot, we feel our heart beating. We can kind of feel that adrenaline inside our bodies. Low-grade stress, like what we're talking about here, there's just a low level of adrenaline, low level of cortisol, low level of a bunch of other chemicals that our body's putting out all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is very unhealthy. What it does is it creates inflammation. Inflammation meaning damaging to our organs, our coronary arteries, our brain, our joints, any number of places we get some inflammation. We got to get that down. Got to get it down. But there's so much going on around that is so frustrating that that's holding it up. So we just have to find ways to work on that. Yeah, it's dangerous to our physical health, but it's also dangerous to our mental health. So, you know, it's just the combination of everything at once. We could talk a little bit about the autonomic nervous system. That's the system that controls things that are automatic, if you will, our heart rate, our breathing rate, how our intestines are functioning. Normally, there's a balance. Everything works just smoothly. There's 2 parts to the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic, which we might call the accelerator, and the parasympathetic, which is kind of the brake. Let's slow things down. And we want these in balance, nice balance together. But right now, this one's up, this one's down. We got to bring that back, got to bring it back, and we got to get that brake working and the foot off the accelerator. So let's talk a little bit about what we can do. The first thing, of course, is I want to reduce those things that are causing stress. Well, the virus isn't going away. We know that. It's here. It's here. It isn't going away. So we have to say, okay, what else can I deal with that's causing stress? Can't get rid of the mask. Can't get rid of social distancing. Can't really go out to dinner with friends. What we can do, though, is cut back on one thing that's very stressful, and it's very ubiquitous, and it's very in our face all the time, and that's the media. TV news, they just want to get you revved up because you'll come back for more. I want you to come back for more. Social media is even worse. And at least on my Facebook feed, there's all this stuff which is just, you know, it's just, let's get going, let's get churned up. That's what it's designed to do. Here's my recommendation. Pick out a decent newspaper, one that's, you know, been around for a long time and has good editorial policies, but even those are some problems often. But just read them and set yourself 30 minutes. You get enough of the news in 30 minutes. Stay off the internet, or at least off social media for your information. And frankly, I don't watch TV anymore because it's just trying to get me all charged up. I don't need to be any more charged up than I am. So that's one of the things you can do to help bring your stress down. Now there's some certain stress relieving things that you can do. The first one, the really basic one, is deep breathing. We tend to breathe about 14 breaths a minute. If you can bring that down to like 5 or 6 a minute, that's going to help just pull everything down. Let me explain that a bit. If you're going to breathe more slowly, you're going to have to breathe more deeply. And when you do that, you want to breathe in. Let's say you breathe in on a count of 4, hold it for 2, and then breathe out for a count of 6 or even 8. It's the slow out breath that's going to turn on that parasympathetic. It's going to push the brake on. And what it's going to do is going to slow down your heart rate, lower your blood pressure. You've already taken control of your breathing. You don't have to do it for a long time. If you're standing in line at a checkout counter, just do it right there for a few seconds, or wherever you might be. If you're laying in bed at night and you wake up, can't seem to get back to sleep, just try doing that. Could make all the difference in the world. There is a technique called coherent breathing, which is basically what I'm saying. And if you want to look it up, you can go on YouTube and just type in coherent breathing. C-O-H-E-R-E-N-T, coherent, I think I spelled it right. And you'll find a number of things there. You can also go to Amazon Music or Apple Music and put in coherent breathing, and you'll find some programs there. I find it's very, very useful, very helpful. Now, the next thing is meditation. And, we kind of all think of, well, that's off there in, Buddhist land in the Far East, but it's right here. It's been well studied, very well studied, to show that it has a real impact on our brain, and it pushes on that brake pedal very effectively. So people say, well, I can't meditate, I don't understand it. There's not much to it, really. The whole concept is to get your brain to focus on one thing. Our brains are all over the place all the time. But if we can try to get it to focus on one thing, and the thing that is often what's recommended is focus on your breathing. Just close your eyes and focus on that in-breath and the out-breath, the in-breath and the out-breath. And of course your mind will wander all over the place, but then whenever you realize it, just come back to the breathing. Now there's a couple of apps for your smartphone. One's called Calm, another one's called Insight Timer. My wife and I have been using that, and we find it very helpful. Been using it now for, I guess, about 2 months. Short sessions, maybe 10, 15 minutes. You don't have to spend an hour at it, but 10 or 15 minutes, a couple of times a day. It just really, again, it pushes on that brake and it lifts up on the accelerator. So I find that very useful. I'm not trying to sell anything. Oh, and these are free. Insight Timer is free. Now they do have, they'll try and get you to buy up a bit, but they're not too fussy about that. And they've got lots of free meditations on there. Yoga. Yoga it's kind of half meditation and half stretching in a sense. It's very valuable. It's very good for reducing stress. Here at Charlestown, you can do yoga. There's a number of different programs for each of us. It's whatever kind of fits you and your needs. I would recommend it. Tai Chi. Again, you can go on YouTube. You can go on YouTube for yoga as well, by the way, and get a program there. But Tai Chi, you can go on YouTube, and it's just these very soft, quiet movements. And again, they're just very relaxing. They settle you down, and that's what you're trying to do, is settle down. But at the same time, it's very healthy. The last thing I want to mention in this regard is gratitude. Again, we're all frustrated. Things aren't going well, it seems. But in every day, there's something, at least one small thing for which we're grateful. Probably very many. Maybe it's you saw a cardinal fly by and it just looked really great. Or you heard a song, whatever it might be. you go to bed at night, stop and think before you fall asleep. What is just one small thing that I'm grateful for? You'll find one pretty easily. You'll have a problem when you start thinking about of all the things that you're grateful for, but just pick out one, stop and think about it a bit. And what you might want to do is get a notebook and write it down. Just before you go to bed, just write it down. You'd be surprised. You build that up over time. There's a lot of really good scientific evidence that says if you stop and think about gratitude, it'll really help your sleep, but it just make you feel better. And you wake up the next morning feeling a lot better. Okay, next step is don't forget the other three basics we've talked about. Diet, very important. We just talked about stress reduction. We'll have a session on exercise soon, and we'll do one on sleep. But you know the basics there. Exercise, 30 minutes a day of walking, it'll be a really good start. And sleep, you need 7.5 hours. But anyway, we'll come back to those. Should add in, this is a time when you want to be careful about alcohol. When you're stressed, it's easy to say, yeah, I can just have one more. Well, no, we can't have one more. So be careful about that, because you can get kind of carried away, if you will. Not going to get drunk, but just it's too much if that happens. You've got to remember also, though, that we're social animals. We need social engagement. We need to interact with other people. And of course, with a mask, with social distancing, with various other restrictions, that's very hard to do right now. Well, it's not hard, but it's not the way we use it. We've lost control again. Lost control. But just remember, whether it's the telephone, Zooming, sitting outside at a distance from each other talking, all sorts of different ways to get some interaction, even though it's not the way we would prefer, or the way that, is, well, the way we'd prefer. Just can't have that right now. Intellectual challenges. Our brains need to be used. They need to be kind of, well, challenged. I know for myself, doing these TV shows and getting prepared is my intellectual challenge. And writing the articles I'm writing, and in the past writing books, those, because I have to do the research and all, that kind of challenges me to kind of figure it out. For Carol, my wife, it's art. And she doesn't just zoop, but she stops and thinks about it, really works it out as a problem-solving experience. And so that for her, that's the intellectual challenge concept. So there's so many ways we can be challenged, and what you need to do is find those. The last thing is really important. We can be a victim of all this, or we can be a survivor. I'll give you two examples. A victim is somebody who says, well, I'm a widow, I'm on my own, I don't have any friends, just everything's going wrong, I've lost control again, and just the world is against me. It's just everything is going against me right now. The alternative is the survivor. The survivor who says, hey, this is not good. It stinks. It stinks really bad, but I don't need to stink too. So I'm going to look forward to the day we're over this, and it will come, and I'm going to come out the other end as a stronger, more vital person. And I can think of a person right now who fits that category so well. Her husband died just shortly before the restrictions came in. She couldn't have a funeral, all the other things. She says to me, I have some tough nights. I cry profusely, but I also have to live. And I have found ways to do a lot of things that my husband used to do for me. And I can't have my friends come in anymore. I can't have my kids come in and help me. I had to do it. I had to learn. And she finished it by saying, I know I'm coming out when this is over a stronger person. So to me, that's the survivor. That's the person who's going to do well. And I just want to encourage you to think in those terms. Think survivor, not victim. Lastly, it's not really lastly, but I'm going to do a little advertising here. My colleague Harry Oken, who's a physician in Columbia, and I wrote a book recently called Boom, and Boost Our Own Metabolism. It goes over a lot of these issues, especially the issues of diet, exercise, stress, and sleep. So you might want to look for it. I'm not going to push it at all, but you might want to look for it on Amazon. It could potentially be helpful to you. So thanks very much. I'll see you next time.